Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how I take my photos for Instagram. That's what we're gonna do. So I get asked all the time what I use to take my photos, what camera I use, what lighting I use, what I use to edit my photos. It's really uninteresting. I feel like you guys are gonna be really disappointed because I literally, it's not exciting at all. It's not high tech. I use my phone. I had the iPhone 5S, which is actually what I'm gonna be showing you on. I was using the iPhone 5S for the majority of the time that I've had Instagram. I recently, in the past couple weeks, I got the iPhone 6S. So I just started using that. And that's actually what I'm filming on right now. So not high tech. It is not high tech at all. And I don't use any fancy lighting. I'm literally just sitting in my living room in front of my big window. And luckily it kind of faces the sun. So most of the time I have pretty decent lighting. It's actually a little bit early, so the lighting might be off a little bit. I usually wait until 1 o'clock, it's perfect, but I use natural lighting. I don't have any lights, I wish I did. And I kind of just play with my blinds back and forth to try and get the perfect bounce, I guess, off of the white blinds. Okay, so this is really important. I use the back camera, not the front camera. Okay, so I know that holding the phone like this and using the front camera, you can see yourself in the screen, but there's some tricks to make it a little bit easier for yourself. So I use the back camera, and basically what I do is I take a little mirror, I will hold the phone like this, and then hold the mirror like this so that I can see what I'm doing in the screen, so that I'm not pointing it over there, and I can see how the lighting is. So usually I'll come here and I'll sit in front of my big window, or I'll stand in front of it or whatever, and I'll hold my phone out and I'll take my mirror and just kind of go back and forth to kind of see, you can see when I move, the way I look straight on, when I move to the side a little bit, you can see how those angles and those shadows change. So I'm usually all up in this window, and I just kind of play around with the lighting. It takes practice, it takes a lot of getting used to and just figuring out what's most flattering on you. You don't want to be all up in the sunlight, with direct sunlight. You want to have some bounce back, you want to have softer light. Actually, I like to kind of be in the middle of that, because I find that just straight up soft light just doesn't hit that highlight like I want to. So I like to have kind of an in-between, so that I can get those highlights are really popping. So basically what I do is I hold my phone up a bit, and I kind of point my chin down, and I'll hold the mirror behind it, obviously, to see what I'm doing. And then I'll just kind of play around with it. I'll hold the phone up because that's really flattering. It makes your eyes look bigger, makes your chin look smaller. So up like that, always want to stick my chin out, or sometimes I actually do shoot from below. The only thing that you want to keep in mind then is to kind of stick your chin out, because you don't want to be you don't want to just have double chin going on underneath. So if I take it from below, I'll just kind of do that, and then you always have to be pouting the lips, because you want your lips to look bigger. So classic. Sometimes I go like this. Those are my standard. You want to keep in mind the fact that a phone, a camera, anything is going to distort. So it's obviously not going to pick up exactly what the naked eye sees, mostly in terms of distortion, because other things the exact color or sharpness or whatever, saturation, that can all be fixed in editing. But you really want to make sure that you understand the angle that you're holding the phone or camera. If I tilt it forward, it's gonna make whatever it is up here, it's gonna make my forehead look huge and my chin look really tiny. Or if I point it up this way, it's gonna make my chin look huge and my forehead look tiny, and it's just gonna be, so you have to play around with it. The most flattering, I think, is holding it above you a little bit, pointing it down a little bit, and then kind of sticking your face out like that. That's how I take my photos. That's what I think is most flattering. It's different for everybody. Try to keep it not super close, because the closer you get, the more the lens is going to distort your face, because it's taking something that's three-dimensional and it's making it two-dimensional. It's flattening it. So the closer you get, it's it'll widen your face, it'll make your nose look bigger, stuff like that. So you want to be careful. I like to keep kind of about an arm's distance away, maybe a tiny bit closer, and then I'll just take 400 pictures that look basically exactly the same and then have to like filter through them all and see which one I like best. As far as my iPhotos, I do basically the same thing. I use the phone, the back camera, I use my mirror so I can see what I'm doing. And what I'll do is, well, I do them first because now I've styled my hair and my like hair's up in my eyebrows. But I will hold the phone really close. Like I'll get like up in the light and I'll hold the phone really close, like this, probably like this distance away from my eye. And I've got the mirror so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'll just kind of like check in the screen to see how the lighting is, because I want like to hit those highlights. I don't want the sun to be like hitting this too hard and creating shadows whichever way, you know what I mean? And then if you need to, you can kind of like see, okay, this is where my eye is in this, and then just tap the screen so that it focuses in on your eye and you can really get those details. So it's not like focusing behind you or something. And it's basically just using the mirror, like the mirror really helps. So as far as taking the photos, that's basically it. It's really not that difficult. If you have a phone, like you can achieve awesome photos. If you look back at, like if you scroll to the very beginning of my Instagram, I was using the exact same phone. I was using the iPhone 5S. And like I said, I just recently started using the iPhone 6S. So I basically used this the entire time that I've been taking my photos. And you'll see the quality is very different. I was living on the East Coast. It was winter like 8 months out of the year. It was cloudy all the time. I couldn't get good sunlight. I tried really, really hard, and I tried to like make up for that in editing, which I'll talk about in a minute. But when I moved to Los Angeles, where it's freaking sunny all the time, that really did make a big difference. Like having this window and having this like the access to the sunlight and being able to play with the blinds and really like work with it, make it work for me, made a huge difference. Like literally the day we moved in to this apartment, I lived with my brother, my photos changed. Like the quality of my photos just became so much better. It really comes from just practice and knowing what to look out for, and then just working at it. Honestly, it's like anything. It takes practice. As far as editing goes, this thing is off and I don't have a SIM card in it, so I can't show you, but I'm going to talk about what I use to edit my photos. Like I said, the camera distorts. Mostly what I find, because I think I've really gotten my angles down, so I know how to hold it, I know how to position my face, I know how far away to be, so I don't get a ton of distortion in terms of angles and size, whatever. But you know, when you're working with natural light, it's very difficult to get exactly what the eye sees. So oftentimes, you know, it'll be too washed out, or the lighting will be too warm. And most of the time, because I do like to be like right up in the light, it kind of like, it drowns out the color a little bit. So the apps that I use to edit are only like, I only use one app to edit, honestly. I use Facetune, which is awesome because mostly what I use Facetune for is getting rid of like any blemishes. Those are not going to be on my face in my Instagram pictures. Like you can see, I'm sure, here that my skin is not perfect. Getting rid of blemishes, or like sometimes, you know, an eyelash will be on your cheek and I feel like it's on your highlight and it totally ruins the whole picture, so you can use the little like patch tool to get rid of stuff like that. I love that you can sharpen stuff up, so if I do like a glitter look or something shimmery, you can use the detail tool to like sharpen up that reflect, but you want to go easy on it. You can use, there's a smoothing tool which is really great, just to make your skin look flawless. Let's see what else is on there. That's my favorite one, and that's honestly the only one that I use because I don't really like to do a whole lot. You just want to like take out the things that aren't necessary, because my Instagram is a portfolio. It's a portfolio. It's not my statement to the world about I have flaws and I'm perfect with them. You know what I mean? It's a portfolio. I'm there to show my makeup and the looks, and I want them to look as great as they possibly can. So I don't want to have like a zit ruining that, you know? Nobody wants zits ruining their highlight. But you want your editing to stay true to the work. What you're really trying to do is, you know, fix any of those stupid little things like blemishes or lines or whatever. That's really the only app that I use, or app outside of like Instagram. Okay, so then I'll take the photo and I'll just put it into Instagram. And then I like to use the Luxe tool, I think it's called, and I like to turn that up just a little bit, just a teeny bit, because sometimes it can make you look like really bad. Then I'll turn the warmth down a little bit and turn the saturation up a little bit. That's just what I found I have to do for my photos and the lighting that I'm working with. Sometimes I used to sharpen my photos, use the sharpening tool, but I don't do that anymore. I think it looks too harsh, because you can use the detail tool in Facetune, and it's just like so much easier. I think that's it, honestly. I mean, you can use, Instagram has really great tools. You can use, you know, brightness, contrast, fade. Not that you would want to do that for like a crisp photo. But yeah, it's mostly turning down the warmth, turning up the saturation a tiny bit. Sometimes I'll increase the contrast a little bit if I've lost a lot of it in the photo. Sometimes I turn up the brightness a little bit. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I love putting like a tiny bit of a vignette on it, just to kind of give the photo depth. I don't like it when it's just like a photo of me and this like white background, and then it's just, the background is flat, you know? Because there's a lot of dimension here, and I just don't want it to be like super flat. So I like to put just a teeny bit of a vignette on it, just so it gives my background a little bit of depth. I don't know, that's just like personal preference. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. It's really easy. It's really simple, honestly. It's it just takes a lot of practice. It's like anything. It's like doing makeup. You can watch these videos and I can give you advice, but it really just comes from like you doing it over and over again and seeing what works for you. Obviously, everybody's situation is going to be different. I would recommend natural light. I know that's not always possible. Like I said, when I lived on the East Coast, and we had winter and clouds all the time, like my photos were not as good. So I think first in some situations, maybe investing in like a ring light or just any kind of light might be like a good idea if this is something that you're like really serious about. Okay, you don't need some fancy camera. I mean, a fancy camera, it's like the camera that like people are running around with that like does the skin smoothing or whatever, it makes everybody look perfect. Like I wish I had that, but I don't. They're expensive. So you can use your phone. It's possible. You can take beautiful photos of your makeup with your iPhone. Like the cameras are so great now. So, and you can record YouTube videos on your iPhone, believe it or not. Use my little trick, using the mirror to see what you're doing and using the back camera, that's big. Knowing your angle, the lighting, that's all really important. And that just comes from like you figuring out, I don't know, what works for you. I can't have you guys come over here and use my window, sorry. That's how I take and edit my photos for Instagram. Hopefully this helped. I hope that it wasn't just a ramble, because I feel like I'm rambling. I'm still rambling, like I'm just literally talking. I'm not gonna shut up. Like why won't I just stop talking? If you have any suggestions for future videos, leave them down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe. Do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Do not want to take... Okay, that's a big... Sirs. What do you call that? What am I talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You went to school for art. What are you talking about? To the window. Rude. Why do they always have to park right outside my window? I'm so uncomfortable right now. This is just gonna be like 6 minutes of dead silence that I have to cut. What was I talking about? Shit. Instagram. Okay, with the motorcycles, like I just can't. Okay, wait. I'm starting. I don't know what I'm talking about.